This truck is a four-wheel drive, 90s worshipping couch. This truck is one of the easiest ways to become an off-roader. This truck is partly responsible for the crossover uprising. I love 1999. It's my birth year, Gran Turismo 2 was released, and everyone bought into the idea that the world would just end spontaneously. What a wonderful time to be alive. The 99 Explorer was to its day how you'd view a new Honda CR-V today. Mom needs to look down onto most other cars on the road, and also needs enough room in the back for Junior and his stroller. Mom would rather be dead than to be seen in a minivan. She's fine with 15 miles per gallon. Now once Mom has gotten her use of the car, Junior gets to command it when he turns 15 and a half, so pray for this bluish-purplish box. And also wash the rear seats. Seriously, don't forget to do that. This car has a weird, if not dated, interior. Driver and passenger headrests? No. Safe window switches? Look a few years later. Sitting in the middle? Well, then I sure hope you like a pelvis-crushing lap belt. Seat bolstering is second to squishy comfort. Unashamed plastic trim pieces scrape and squeak over bumps like small tectonic plates. The hard interior plastics morph together in their polarizing black and brown expanse as screens, buttons, and gauges bubble out of the dashboard. This car has 4 separate LCD screens and more buttons than the Space Shuttle. American excess is not something you just hear on Top Gear or see in literary criticism. It is right here. Someone please tell me why we like this? Now then, let's just take a moment to run through the screens and basic controls. The lowest screen is the vehicle information panel. This gives you a basic readout of your fuel economy, remaining range, and service and oil change intervals. The next screen up is your climate control, which is pretty self-explanatory with a temperature number and an air location indicator. Above that is your radio and clock. The clock's time is wrong. I don't know how to adjust that. The last screen is above everything else, even the rearview mirror, and it will tell you the air temperature, ice warnings, and will give you the cardinal direction of your motion. I have never used this. Until this review, I had forgotten it was even there. You want to know something I haven't forgotten? The rear seat control panel! This car is terrible for children because even though they don't need to ask mom and dad to adjust the fan speed or air location, they do have control over the radio station and stereo volume. While the driver does have convenient steering wheel controls to combat this, memories of old car rides would leave my old man frustrated and unwilling to change from 92.5. I remembered that once I stopped switching stations and allowed the classic rock to play, I would steadily lower the volume to silence until Dad would lose patience again and demand the ambience of the music. The rear seat occupants also have a headphone jack. Learn from this, Apple. The driver's side sun visor can also record and play audio tracks. Why? Beats me. It's $19.99 and we need more pages in the brochure. Also, there's a column shifter, because apparently Mercedes and Tesla now consider it a premium feature. Enough with 90s quirks now. What is it like to drive? Thin pillars and a low belt line welcome sunlight through the square, upright windows, even though the rear passenger one won't go back up after you roll it down all the way. The large, thin-rimmed steering wheel is wrapped in leather and is ungodly light, and though having a sizable dead spot in the center, changes direction extremely quickly for such a large vehicle. Being a truck, you can actually feel bumps through the steering and body with the rear leaf springs, and plenty of induction is heard from the truck's 4-liter single overhead cam V6 as it smoothly slurs the transmission's 5 forward ratios, with a bit more grunt than you would expect. Now let's consider the engine a little more. For $19.99, there were 3 different engine choices for the Explorer. There was the base overhead valve version of the 4-liter Cologne V6, which showed its 1962 architecture by wheezing out 160 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque. This was available with a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual transmission. Next up, as a response to the Jeep Grand Cherokee's available 4.7-liter V8, was the infamous Windsor V8. This Mustang-sourced 5-liter unit dished out 215 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque solely through a 4-speed automatic. This particular Explorer has the range-topping overhead cam version of the Cologne V6, which was introduced in 1997. The technological overhaul kicked the engine up to 210 horsepower and 254 pound-feet, making the Windsor essentially obsolete with its dismal fuel economy, comparable power, and slower, older transmission. This all played into the second-generation Explorer being the last Ford product to be sold with the gasoline pushrod V8, truly an end of an era. For being a farm truck, this Explorer's powertrain has aged gracefully for being nearly 20 years old. This trend of putting brand new technology in trucks and crossovers was started here, and can still be seen in curiosities like the semi-autonomous pigeon-wing Tesla Model X and the 2015 Ford F-150, which fucked over convention with an all-aluminum body. The sales of these vehicles speak for how the public receives this kind of automotive beta testing. This Explorer's trim is the Eddie Bauer edition. It is second only to the limited trim and comes with this beautiful blue-purple pearlescent paint and gold-accented trim. It makes me miss the good old days of special edition cars. The Subaru Outback had an LL Bean edition, so clearly it can be used to get brand junkies to look at other things that might interest them. Appropriately enough, Ford can be blamed for killing the special edition car with the Harley-Davidson edition F-150. A truck themed after a bike. Brilliant. Give them a slow clap. The Explorer would be a great choice for a cheap first off-roader build. The short body overhangs, massive ground clearance, and the sizable sidewalls can overcome curbs and trails easily. The control-track four-wheel drive system and two-speed transfer case also help in this area. The limited slip rear differential and locking center are effective and useful for those who want to push this ex-mommy mobile to the limit. So if you're considering on building up a Jeep YJ, weigh it with a second-gen Explorer Sport. You can even get a manual with it, and you won't be paying $10,000 for a 30-year-old doorless death machine. Unless if you are into that, of course. This truck in particular has been used as a light-duty towing rig and has seen moderate off-road use. It has held up well, obviously, but at 89,000 miles, it's a baby by second-gen standards. Regular dealership checkups and new meaty Michelin tires keep it happy and reliable. This Ford Explorer is a solid truck, and I would recommend it. Hell, even compared to the Ranger it's based on, it holds its own with an available V8 and the overhead cam Cologne V6 before the new millennium. It might seem crazy, but this soccer mom car might just be the only mini truck you'll ever need. Oh shit, I forgot to talk about the exterior aesthetics.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No.